Welcome to our presentation this morning. Get Up and Grow, Early Childhood Gardening, Nutrition, and Movement. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank Del Monte Foods for sponsoring our Growing Great Veggies and Fruits, a national STEM education program, where we are going to be featuring a series from our early childhood programming. So today you have three presenters, one, including myself. I am Jill Coons. I'm Director of Education for Growing Great. We are a nonprofit organization located in Los Angeles, California since 1999. We have been doing early childhood education for over 20 years, and I'm excited to be here today and share some exciting resources that we have for you today. We also have Mariah Romaninski. She's the manager of early childhood education at the Academy of Natural Science of Drexel University. And we also have Sarah Minkow, MSRD, from the University of California, Berkeley. So before I go into my presentation, I just wanted to share with you what the learning outcomes are through this conference for our Get Up and Grow presentation. We're hoping that this will provide an easy way to implement engaging hands-on STEM activities for early childhood teachers and for early childhood parents that integrate children's books and science skills and applies a model for back at home of activities in which they are already engaged. During the pandemic, we have been at home, and so we are going to offer fun ways that parent, child, and teacher on screen, or if you're back in the classroom, can implement in your day. Also, we provide a series of physical activities geared toward an early childhood audience that are thematically linked with hands-on STEM activities. Mariah will be presenting that program for you down the road. We also implement innovative and accessible garden activities that children can do at home in their kitchens. Many of our children here in downtown Los Angeles don't have yards. They live in a cement covered city. So we have ideas on how child and family can plant seeds in their kitchens. Also, gain practical knowledge for integrating nutrition activities in a child's day from a university registered dietitian, Sarah Minkow, who understands how children learn to make healthy food choices. Okay, so I'm Jill Coons again, Director of Education for Growing Great. Our mission here at Growing Great is to empower children to make healthy food choices through hands-on science and garden education. Now, since the pandemic began in March of 2020, we had to act quickly. We closed up the classrooms and came home and needed to figure out how can we still continue to reach our little ones in their preschools, their daycare centers, and science centers and museums and zoos. So I'm going to be featuring three of our activities that we have created, and I hope that you enjoy them. So here are some great pictures from the last year. This is samples of Growing Great hands-on activities, planting seeds in the classroom and at home. So you can see our little ones are exploring, they're being scientists. We have our young student with his muscles in the air and feeling so successful that he planted a seed in a pot. And then we have another student who is exploring worms in soil. And then you can see we have other students who are outside, they're inside. And then of course we have Growing Great STEM educator, Maxwell Watson, who is planting seeds in an egg carton on video, talking to little ones about how they can plant seeds in their own kitchen using supplies from their kitchens. And then we have Grace Sanchez, who is demonstrating how to plant in the kitchen. And you can see her walking students through the different sizes of cups that you can plant. She has some seed packets. She challenges the students to think about, how does a carrot grow? Is it long? Is it short? Should it be planted in a short cup or medium cup or a large cup? I also would like to share that Grace is our bilingual teacher. So since the pandemic in 2020, we have not only been teaching in English, we've also been teaching in Spanish. And then you can see a picture of a new program that we've launched here in Los Angeles. We have partnered with LA Unified School District to provide hands-on nutrition, garden, and STEM activities and what we are calling our grab and grow kits. And you can see the grocery bag with the magnifying glass. And it's where we've stuffed supplies and activities for families to pick up at their grab and go food sites throughout Los Angeles County. So again, here is a sample of our hands-on nutrition and STEM activities. These are great one-sheet activities, front and back, in English and in Spanish. And before the pandemic, we, on the back side of each activity, were teaching tips for teachers such as yourself, like simple tips on how to offer this activity simply, affordable, and to encourage science discussions and exploration. So we have Seed Sleuths featured here, which later in the presentation, Megan Nealon, Growing Great STEM Manager, will be showing you a Seed Sleuth demonstration from her kitchen. And then when the pandemic hit, we knew that we needed to reach not only the teacher, but we also needed to reach the parent, knowing that parents are at home homeschooling their children. So we quickly created a parent page to go on the back of all of these activities. So we have planting in the kitchen to the right, and I'm excited to show you what that is all about later in the presentation. Another new program that we have featured over this past year, which I'm really excited about, we have partnered with a primary center here in Los Angeles, East Los Angeles, where it's only preschool through first grade. And we were asked if we could do a virtual field trip so that the teachers at the primary center could show it through their class dojo. So that's exactly what we did. We created a virtual field trip, and you can see this is Megan in the garden activity sheet that accompanies the video. We have it in English and Spanish, and the idea of the activity is that the student at home with their parent can walk through the video, watch it, and explore flowers and fruits and vegetables. So I'm going to show you a video of that field trip, so enjoy, and I'll see you when you come back.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the garden. I'm Miss Megan from Growing Great, and today you're going to be joining me on a garden adventure field trip. We're going to take a tour around the garden, and I'm going to show you how I planted, watched grow, and then harvested some of the things in this garden. So follow me. Here we have a row of lettuces, and just about a month ago these lettuces were tiny seeds. We have more lettuces here. Over here we have 2 rows of radishes, and these are almost ready to harvest. We can see down at the root there. And for radishes, we eat the root part of the plant. For lettuces, what part do you think we eat? That's right, we eat the leaf part. Here are some more marigolds. This variety is just orange, whereas the ones we saw before had red and orange. Now we have some bigger plants. These are our broccoli plants. And with the broccoli plant, we actually eat the flower part of the plant, which will grow right in the middle here. Over here we have some more marigolds. And then we have our cabbages. And the cabbage part of the plant we eat is the leaf, and it will also be right in the middle here. We have more cabbages. More cabbages. We have about 6 cabbage plants here. And then we have some herbs. Lavender, which has beautiful purple flowers that attract bees and other pollinators. And then we have some mint. They smell so fresh. Now going to our next garden box, we have another variety of lettuce. You can see our rows of lettuce here. We have another broccoli plant. Here we have some potato plants. And the actual potato part of the plant grows under the soil. We have some more marigolds. Now in this next box, we have some pea plants, which I'm hoping will grow really tall up this trellis. And then we have some spinach. And the spinach, we eat the leaf part of the plant, right? And we have some red lettuce, which is a very beautiful dark red purple color. This is ready to harvest. We'll harvest this today. And we have some more chives and 2 more red lettuces. Now here we have lots and lots of radishes, and these are ready to be harvested. We'll be harvesting these today, and we eat the root part, which we can see here is beautiful and red. So you guys can help me harvest these today. And on the edge here we have some more cilantro. And then we even have some lettuces and some chives hiding underneath those tall radish leaves. We have even more radishes here. These are a different type of radish though. These are cherry bell radishes. And these, notice how these look longer and skinnier? These are French breakfast radishes. Now over here, we have a bed with beets. And beets we usually think of as being red, but here we have both red beets, we can tell because their stems are nice and red, and also golden boy beets, which have a golden or yellow tint to their stem. These aren't quite ready to harvest. We'll know they're ready to harvest when they start peeking out of the soil down here. So these will probably harvest in a week or 2. In our garden here, we also have some beautiful citrus trees. And if you ever smell their leaves, they smell like oranges or lemons or limes. So here we have a lemon tree. And notice these trees also have beautiful flowers. And like all fruit trees, that's where the fruit comes from, is the flower. Here we have a tall avocado tree. I haven't seen any avocados on it, but next to it, we have some fruit that is almost ready for harvest. We have some oranges.
In the garden, we just observed lots of plants that have grown big enough to eat. But did you know that all of those plants started out as a tiny seed? Maybe only this big. Now let's take a look at how I plant a seed and what a seed needs to grow. So in order for a seed to grow, it needs 5 things. It needs soil, which I have right here. It needs sunlight, which I have because there's a window next to me. It needs water, which I have here. It needs air, which is all around me. And it needs space. So I'll make sure not to put my seeds too close together. So first, we're going to just make a little divot, not too deep. And we're going to do another one here. And a third one here. And I'm planting some pea seeds today. So now I'll put my seed into the hole, and I'll take another seed and put it into this hole, and I'll take my third seed and put it into this hole. And now I'll gently cover each hole, give it a little pat, my soil, now our seeds are planted, and the last step is to give them a little water to help them grow. Give them just a little bit of water. And now we'll go ahead and put this on the windowsill, nearer to the sun, outside. Now, let's take a closer look underneath the soil and see how our seeds go from this to this.
See their roots there. They're pretty long roots, actually longer than the radish itself, to allow it to reach down deep into the soil to get that water and those nutrients. Thanks for joining me in the garden today. I hope you had a fun time. I know I did. Now, stay safe, and I can't wait to see you on another field trip soon.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that virtual field trip. Another program that I'm excited to showcase is our Growing Great Reading Club. We realized that it was important to continue on enforcing literacy, even if we are on videos. So what we've created, all of our educators film themselves reading a book. So these are just two samples of two of my favorite books from our Growing Great library. So I'm going to show you a video of Maxwell Watson, our STEM educator.
Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Max from Growing Great, and thank you for joining me in my living room again for another edition of Growing Great's Reading Club. Today we're going to be reading over a fascinating book that is inspired by a real-life farmer, Will Allen, and is called Farmer Will Allen and the Growing Table, written by Jacqueline Briggs Martin and illustrated by Eric Shabazz Larkin. So I really like how this book is actually based on a true story and a real-life person named Will Allen, who, interestingly enough, when he was growing up, never cared for farming and actually kind of actively disliked it. But when he found himself as an adult, he actually grew to really love the work and what he could make. Because even as a child, they never had many luxuries of television or other fancy things, but they always had enough food on their table. And that was something that he always knew to be something that could bring people together. And he loved and wanted to spread that to the whole world. So he looked at opportunities like places such as cities and apartment buildings or factories, and he saw potentials for places to be gardens. My favorite part of this book is definitely going to be this page where we see clearly a large man getting to show his wingspan and demonstrate the kind of stretch and reach he hoped to have throughout the world. Because he didn't just stop in cities, he not only went across this whole country, but went from Kenya to London and tried to bring and create more farmers in the world everywhere that he could, because he thinks that it is a right for everyone to be able to have access to fresh and good foods. This book even has a section at the end where he tells you all about ways that you can create and start your own garden, no matter how small or big a scale that you're trying to accomplish. Overall, I think this former basketball star, Mr. Will Allen, is a very admirable human being, and we would love to send you your very own copy of this book. And if you'd like one for free, please feel free to email us right here at megan@growinggreat.org, and we'd love to help you out. Really hope you guys enjoy this one. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that book report from Mr. Max, as we like to refer to him. Okay, so moving on, we have Growing Great hands-on STEM activities that I shared with you a few slides back. So again, we had to go virtual. So we quickly went to the kitchen table and figured out how are we going to continue to educate our little ones from our own kitchens. So we did exactly that. And here is Seed Sleuth, and you can see there's a lot of resources on that activity. Now, again, on the back of this activity, you have either teaching tips or parent tips, but these activities are age appropriate. They have age appropriate books. They enforce science skills, language development, exploration, song, discovery, wonder, and recipes. Here at Growing Great, because we talk about veggies and fruits, and our program is inspired by veggies and fruits, we always like to include simple, affordable recipes. So now I'm going to feature one of our videos from this series, Seed Sleuth.
Hello, my name is Miss Megan, and I'm an educator with Growing Great. And today we're going to be talking about the activity Seed Sleuths. This activity is great for you and your child to discover different types of seeds we find in fruits and vegetables. So let's see what you need to get started. So for this activity, you'll need a cutting board and a knife for the adult to use. Then you're going to need a few fruits and vegetables. I chose a mango, which has one seed, a lemon and snap pea, which both have a couple seeds each, and then strawberry and tomato, which each have a bunch of seeds. But the best part about this activity is you don't have to use these same fruits or vegetables. You can use any fruit or vegetable you have around your house. Now let's get started. Before you start cutting the fruit, have you and your child observe things about the whole fruit. For example, I might notice that the mango is really smooth, whereas the strawberry has bumps on it. You can also take this time to have your child predict how many seeds will be inside some of the fruits or vegetables. Now it's time to cut the fruits open. As you do so, have your child observe how each fruit smells, looks, and feels. So I finished cutting the mango, and here you can see we have the fruit and also the seed. It just has one really large and really hard seed. So some other examples of fruits and vegetables that just have one seed are avocados, apricots, and peaches. Now let's move on to our next fruit. So next we'll have our lemon and snap pea. Now each of these should have more than one seed. So let's go ahead and cut into our lemon. And with fruits that have multiple seeds, like apples, lemons, oranges, I like to cut them in half, but you can also cut them into additional pieces. So you can see there's some seeds there. And with these fruits, you can actually have your child count the number of seeds. So if we take the seeds out of this half, just gently squeezing them out. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this half of the lemon. And now let's see our snap pea. And with this, you can see the seeds or peas are right in the middle there. If you have peas, you can have your child actually take apart the shell and open it up to see those peas there. So we have 2 there. And then if we open up this side, we have 1 more there. And then the last little piece we had has 2 more. So we have 2 plus 2 is 4, 5 total little peas. Let's move on to our next fruit. So next we have a tomato and a strawberry. Now both of these fruits have a lot of seeds, so it may be hard to count, but if your child feels up to it, they can give it a try. So let's start with the tomato. I'm gonna cut it into 3 pieces, and we can see here that there are a lot of little seeds in that tomato. So with fruits and vegetables that have a large number of seeds, like tomatoes, pumpkins, zucchini, it may be hard to count the individual seeds, but you can definitely observe where they are. Now, strawberries also have a lot of seeds, but there's something a little bit different about theirs, and that is that they're actually on the outside of the fruit. So you can still cut the strawberry just to show that there aren't any seeds on the inside. And so your child can observe how the inside is different from the outside. So there's the inside of our strawberry, and on the outside we can see the tiny seeds. A couple other berries also have seeds on the outside, like blackberries.
So first we looked at the mango, which had 1 seed on the inside, and it was very large and hard. Then we looked at the lemon, which had a few seeds on the inside. Then we looked at the snap peas, which had 5 seeds on the inside. Then we looked at the tomato, which had lots of seeds on the inside. And finally, we looked at the strawberry, which also had lots of seeds. But unlike all the other fruits and vegetables, they're on the outside, not the inside. So it's kind of special.
So now we've observed how each fruit smells, looks, and feels. I noticed that the lemon was really juicy, that the peas were really, really green, and that the tomato seeds were slippery when I tried to pick them up. But now it's time to taste. You and your child can now enjoy the fruits of your labors. So sweet. And don't forget, if you and your child do the Seed Sleuths activity at home, send Growing Great a picture to this email right here, and we'll send you one of our favorite books. I hope you had fun today, and see you next time.
Welcome back. Hey, Mariah, can you stop sharing the screen for me? I'd like to demonstrate a live demonstration. Now, you just saw a recorded demonstration that Megan did in her kitchen that we've provided links for various teachers, various museums, science centers, and zoos to use on their own schedule. So I thought it would be fun if I did a live demonstration, which we do as well here at Growing Great, where we are on live Zoom calls with early childhood learners and their families. So I would love to feature one of our sensory activities. As you can see, hear, smell, touch, and taste. And again, it's a great activity for student, parent, and teacher. So depending upon where you are, where your child is, where the parent is, this is a great, simple activity that you can do in the kitchen. So what I did is we have a supply list, and during this time right now, we might not be able to get to the store, or we might not have something that is specifically on the activity. So we just say, whatever you have in your kitchen. So I had dried herbs, but I also had fresh herbs in my refrigerator. I also have a rosemary plant out on my patio. So there are many options. Also, I have tea bags because we have herbal teas. So whatever you have to do in your kitchen, in your pantry, pull it out and do this activity with me. And all you need simply is a piece of paper, and I made a grid, as you can see, with columns, and it's see, hear, smell, touch, and taste. And basically what we're challenging our young ones to do is to look, and I brought my scientific magnifying glass because I'm not in the classroom, obviously, but I bring all my tools as a teacher to my kitchen. And so it's a great way to make it fun and look down at the rosemary, look at, I have some fresh cilantro, and really steady, and then record what I see. And then as far as hearing, I walk students through, feel, does it make a sound? Hold it up to the ear when I roll it around between my fingertips, and then smelling. All the sensories are going off, and then also touching the different types of herbs or the dried herbs between their fingertips. And then we have a tasting component to our activities. I'm not going to be doing a tasting today, but this activity suggests making a healthy fruit salad where you use mint. So they're adding the herbs, the links to the herbs, and then what does it taste like? So this is something that you can simply do from your kitchen table. You can do it in the classroom. I also have books. We always end our lessons with a literacy component for early childhood. And this is one of my favorite books out of our Growing Great library. I've been using this book for 17 years. It's Tops and Bottoms by Janet Stevens. And I'm sure some of you are familiar with it. In past, I've heard at different conferences how early childhood educators just love this book because it's a great, I love how it opens, up from top to bottom, tops and bottoms. And it's just very colorful and walks students through what parts of a plant do we actually eat. And it reinforces planting seeds as well. So if you're interested in more information on our activities and our Growing Great library, I'm going to be prompting you at the end of this presentation. So again, thank you for having me. Now, I would like to introduce Mariah Romaninski, Manager of Early Childhood Education from the Academy of Natural Sciences of Drexel University.
Thanks so much, Jill. I really appreciate the introduction. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started with a few images of some things that we've done in the past at the Academy. And then we're going to do some live demonstrations of a few things that Jill talked about a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so you can see wiggly worms growing, get up and grow, and our DIY chia pets. That's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Over the past 3 years, the Academy of Natural Sciences of Drexel University out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, has been working with Growing Great and Del Monte to create a series of outdoor activities and gardens to help our preschool learners. In Philadelphia, President Obama delineated the West Philadelphia Promise neighborhood. It's an area of high poverty and need. And he delineated it as an area where there's an extra special focus. So it's called a Promise Zone. So what we did when we joined up with Growing Great and Del Monte, the Academy of Natural Sciences, we're a natural history museum, but we like to think about our museum as an indoor-outdoor museum. And we really wanted to encapsulate the work that we were doing with our preschoolers by starting to work with a community garden that already existed. So we reached out and we got together with a place called the Sloan Street Community Garden in West Philly. And we started doing growing activities where the kids could actually walk right down from their preschool center and come down and get their hands in the dirt. We planted seeds, we grew flowers, we grew berries and fruits, and let the kids dig for worms. And that's how we started with our work with Growing Great a few years ago.
Nadir, what did you say it smelled like?
Again.
Yeah.
What do you have?
That is a root.
This is a kind of
It's a very tiny plant. That's what comes out of a seed.
So at the very beginning, when we were talking with our students about worms and we were outside, I discovered that they really did not like to touch worms. And so I thought that it would probably be one of my most exciting activities to just introduce them to worms in a classroom setting where they're more comfortable. And so they weren't in a situation where they felt scared by being surprised by a worm. And so we would bring them to our classes and I would show the students on my hands. And then you can see in the picture on the right, we even put them down on a tablecloth and let the families, the teachers, and the children explore with them. And there's another picture here, and that's the book that I use when I talk to my classes. It's called Wonderful Worms. Jill, would you mind stopping here? I wanted to show everybody a quick demonstration of what I have for my DIY gardening compost worm bin. Now, if you've seen online, you've probably seen all of these great ways that you can build your own worm farm. But you have to go and buy more than 2,500 sometimes, red wiggler worms, and you buy them online. And then it becomes what do you do with them? So during the pandemic, I didn't have an opportunity to go get my worms from the museum. I let somebody else take them home, but I wanted to teach about them with my students. So I went to Walmart, or you could go to any bait shop, and I just picked up a pack of 20 red, and I think they're called red and plump worms. So they're a little bit bigger than a red wiggler worm. And you can see that it's just a little bit of potting soil. I cut up some newspaper and I gave them some carrots and some other things. And I'm going to show you the worm that's inside. And what we do is just like this. Here we go. So you can see that these worms, and there he goes, he's starting to wiggle around. Having something like this, even doing it virtually, just like we're doing right now, is impactful. Families could go out in their backyard if they have the opportunity and look for a worm outside and let it go. But as a teacher, you might not have the opportunity to do that, and you might be sharing things virtually. So just going to your local bait shop, or in my case, I just went to Walmart and I picked up some of these worms, and then I went to my recycling bin and I made a tiny little worm composting bin. I've had these guys for a couple of months now, and they're living a happy life here in this tiny little worm bin in my kitchen. When it finally warms up for sure, because remember, we're in Philadelphia, it's not necessarily the warmest here yet. When it winds up being warm for real, I'm going to let them go in my backyard. And then they'll go back to doing what worms do, eating decomposing fruits and vegetables, rotting leaves and all that good stuff, and then creating the good loam or soil at the end that then we can use to plant our plants and seeds. So I just wanted to show you a quick one about our worms. And then Jill, if you wouldn't mind popping the screen back up. Thank you. So you can see there are some of our pictures. I had some of my friends over. We were looking at our worms. And then we also had our book here. It's called Wonderful Worms. And that is, let me see, I'll have to pinch it out here, Linda Glazier, who wrote that book. It's a great book. It's very easy for preschoolers. It has movement activities. You can stretch and squeeze like the worms. You can dig your fingers and toes and wiggle around. And I like to have a book that is interactive when I'm doing these activities. All right, so what started originally as our worm activities turned into what we call a grass-haired Gus. And you can see in the pictures here that our kids are actually creating their own Chia Pet. And the way that they do that is we have a couple of easily attainable materials that the families, even at home during the pandemic, could do. And you were able to put them all together. And we're going to show a quick video in a second. I think the next picture, though, Jill, shows our, yeah, there we go. So those are our wordless instructions on how you can make your grass-haired Gus. Now, grass is a super easy seed to grow. And that's why we did it, because grass creates a very quick growing plant. And we like to see those fast results with our children. And then you have these wordless instructions. You can see it helps with kindergarten readiness, because you want to be able to follow instructions, but also follow them in case of a pre-reader, or in the case of somebody who is an English language learner. You want to be able to have those instructions visible for our children to do. And yep, you can see here that sometimes the teachers would sit right with the students and make them themselves because they're a lot of fun. Basically, you're putting the seeds in the bottom of a receptacle. You're going to put the dirt on top, and then you flip it over, and then the grass grows out of the top like a Chia Pet, and it grows some hair. And these are just some more pictures of students doing it. I had a few questions last time I talked about this. What's the youngest age that you can do this with? And you can see our middle picture there. That is baby Amy, and she was 2 at the time that she was doing this. Again, she did have some help with the process, but even the scooping up of the dirt and putting it into the cup, she was able to handle that well on her own. So the stuff we were doing with our grass heads, where we were making our grass head that grew, we turned into a DIY chia friend. And the reason that we did this is because when we started working with Growing Great, we learned all about the importance of having an edible experiment. And so what we've done instead, and you can see on the right side of the picture here, this is our grow your own Chia Pet, and you can do it with chia seeds. You can do it with microgreens, or you can do it with herbs. And those things will actually grow this hair out of the top, and then they're edible. So this is actually where we're going to show a video about the process that I've been talking about.
Hi everybody, I'm so excited you were able to join me today to do a quick demo on how to make one of our own DIY Chia Pets. Now, we call them a Chia Pet because they resemble something like this. Now, remember our Chia Pets from when we were kids? This one's a dinosaur because obviously I love dinosaurs. But you don't have to have one of these in order to grow the microgreens that are from a chia seed, or what we're going to do today, the savory mix of chia seeds, of microgreens. Now these are mustard, kohlrabi, Swiss chard, cabbage, watercress. They're all the tiny little microgreens. Now you can pick these up if you're at a Home Depot or any of that kind of place, but if you don't have time to go there and you just want to stop by the dollar store, you can grab an herb instead. I grabbed dill. You can put any other sort of herb in this container, and because what we're really looking for here is a quick growing plant. We want something that doesn't take very long, which is why we used to do it with grass seed, because it only took a day or two to show up. And that's really what we want to see here, is that we want to see something that's got kind of quick results so the kids really become invested by it. Now, one of the simplest things that we can do to make our own DIY chia pet is to use nylon, right? So this is the kind that used to be, that you know, maybe have seen before, or have, you know, grandma used to wear or whatever. They're the ones that go right up to your knee. So they're the knee-high nylons. And, or in my case, I couldn't find any knee-highs. So I went again to the dollar store, just bought these and cut them off about a foot from the bottom. Now, I've done this project with preschoolers, kids all the way up to 8 and 9 and 10 years old. And the older kids can do this part without a problem. The littler ones, sometimes I preset the cups. So you can either show them how to do this or you can preset them. Easy enough. You're just gonna take a cup and one of those knee-high nylons. You're gonna put your hand in the cup, and then you're gonna go ahead and wrap the nylon around the top of the cup. Now, of course, I messed that up. I'm gonna do it again really quickly. I was trying to be cute for the camera so you could see it, but here we go. So anyway, it was on my hand, I put it around here, and now I'm just gonna leave it, and you can see that it is basically a receptacle for your seeds. So we're gonna pour our seeds in here, and then we're going to add our dirt on top. So some of the materials, of course, you need the nylon, you need the cup, you need some seeds. We're going to use these microgreens. These will grow in 2 to 5 days in your classroom. You're going to want to give them, I'm going to show you what I did here. It's about this much. Pour them in the bottom. So they need to go first before the dirt goes in. You can see them right in there. And then I'm going to give them a few squirts with some water so they will be nice and moist and ready for the dirt. Now, we're going to add our dirt to this, and I just grabbed some extra potting soil from my back porch. If you have some potting soil from some old plants that you're no longer using for planting right now, or you haven't gotten planted yet, this is a perfect time to do it, because you're going to grow some soil, from some seeds in this soil. Really fun activity to do is to sing a song while you do this, or make a chant. So we say, scoop it up, pour it in, pat it down, do it again. Scoop it up, pour it in, pat it down, do it again. When you get to the top, stop. Okay, scoop it up, pour it in, pat it down. Are you at the top? You are? Are you sure? All right, add a little more. Pat it down, stop. So that's one thing that we do, and we sing that over and over with the kids so they remember. You're gonna scoop up the dirt, you're gonna pour it in, you're gonna pat it down, you're gonna do it again until you get to the very top, and then we say stop. And that way everybody knows those directions. I'm also including a copy of those directions wordlessly, so you can share those with your pre-readers and kids who are learning to follow directions via visual cues. So now here comes a part that your teachers are going to have to help with, okay? So you're going to take and pull the nylon off of the cup, and you're going to take it out and you're going to tap it down, okay? And when you tap it down, you're going to get all that dirt down. I always kind of like to think of it as like a softball or a baseball size in this case. You're going to get all of that down there at the bottom, and I don't know if you can see it, but our seeds are down there now, right? Then you're going to take and you're going to put a little quick tie at the top, and you're going to flip it over. It kind of looks like that. You're going to put that tail down in the bottom of your cup. There you go. And then you're going to give it a squirt. Now this is a super fun thing we do with the kids. We go around. If the kids have the motor skills to do this on their own, they can squirt the top. We give them everybody can get 6 squirts, and then we all count together, and then they pass it on. So it's a good activity for sharing. It's also a great activity to try and work those fine motor skills, right? So they do this, and now comes the fun part. You got to decorate your friend. You got to decorate your chia pet. So I went to the dollar store again, same place. I mean, I spent what, $4 here. I got seeds, I got googly eyes and nylons, and then seeds, nylons, googly eyes. What else did I get? Seeds, nylon, googly eyes. I feel like I spent $4. Doesn't matter. Anyway, of course we need our googly eyes. All right, so we're gonna put some glue on those. Now, one thing you can do is get the stickers. They go on the side of the cup greatly. They're perfect. You just do that. It's just as easy. Okay, you're gonna put that sticker on the side of the cup, or that glue on your googly eye on the cup. And then you're gonna do the same to the other side. We've also done this with Sharpies. If you've got some kids that are able to write their names, they can write their names on this. And what's really great is once this is all done, your hair is going to grow out of the top, and the hair is what you can eat. So it can be the chia seeds or the microgreens, and you're going to have that hair growing out of the top. I've put the directions in here for you so you know when to water. One thing that's really neat about this is the bottom of this, that bottom tail part of the nylon is actually can be used as a wick. And the water that you pour in the bottom after the kids are done. So go in and pour a little bloop, bloop, bloop in the bottom and then set it in the sun. In about 2 to 3 days, you're going to see some of those microgreens start to sprout. And then you might have a crazy wild head of some of our greens within a week or so. So anyway, I just thought you might like to see our DIY chia head. Thanks.
Great. I'm so glad that everybody was able to see the process of creating our DIY chia friend. And then what was really neat about this, we started this process with our chia pets just about at the beginning of the pandemic. So I don't have a lot of pictures of the families doing this, though I did teach them how to do it over Zoom during the entirety of the pandemic. But these are some of the ways that I'm sure where in California, you also have the standards that you need to show life cycles and taking care of plants and living things. And so these are some of the ways that some of my teachers, after the children created their projects, you can see the grass growing up and tall. And then the children become responsible for taking care of those chia pets that they've grown themselves. They can braid the hair, they can cut the hair, and then they're also responsible for watering their own plants. So it's a great tie-in to the things that you're already teaching in your preschool classroom. So there we go. We have one of our girls is doing her daily watering of her chia head. And on the right side, you can see somebody who is excited about creating them. And Jill, if you wouldn't mind flipping to the next slide. This is one of my favorite sets of pictures here because you can catch on the left side, you see Tiffany from the Academy with me. And on the right, you can see me with my mid-educator face. You know, every time they take a picture of you as an educator, you're always talking, so your mouth is open. But here we go. We can just show you just how fun it is to do this activity in your classroom. Jill, would you mind not sharing or unsharing your screen so I can talk about a couple of other things really quickly? Thank you. So yeah, in those last pictures you saw that we were working in the actual classroom. But as we know, during this whole last year, we've had to be virtual. And the Academy is no different than anybody else. We all went virtual back in March. And it took a little while to figure out exactly what we were going to do. I was spending a lot of time on Zoom with my preschool classes. I mainly work with family daycares. So in family and childcare homes, so anywhere from 6 to 12 children and the teacher. And what I did during the pandemic in order to transition was to reach out to the teacher via Zoom, plan a lesson, and then invite families to come in from their own homes. Because our centers weren't open, we did our visits via Zoom. And I'd have my students come in, we'd do our good morning song, or in some case, Baby Shark, because everybody loves Baby Shark. So we would do our songs, and then our friends would be able to see each other over Zoom, and they'd say, I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, it's so good to see you. Is that your sister? Show me your cat. And we did that, and it was super fun. But what I also learned during that time is that nobody can sit still for very long. And as preschoolers, they shouldn't have to. We all know that there's a certain amount of time that you're only allowed to have screens on for preschoolers, and it's for good reason. But during the pandemic, we did have to spend a lot more time being inactive and in front of our screens. So some of the ways that we combated that were to introduce some books that were movement books. And remember, I was doing all this virtually. So I would do these activities virtually, but I'd have my kids do them on the other end. One of the ways that we did that is I would make a PowerPoint of my book, and we could put it and we could share it on the screen. If you guys haven't heard of this book, it's called Kitchen Disco, and it's one of my very favorite. It's Claire Fogues is the author, and it is a book about the fruits getting up off the counter in the middle of the night, and when you're asleep, they come out and they go dancing. Now, there you go. It says, in the quiet of your kitchen, when the moon is shining white, the fruit jump from the fruit bowl and they dance all through the night. And you can see that this is how I started. I would start with my stories like this, but I wasn't sure if the kids were really getting it. So I wound up transferring them all to PowerPoints, and you can use the page turning function on that. So it looks just like you're reading the story. And then the families would also have a copy of it. So they would be able to, a copy of the video, so they could just look at the book or get it from their local library or internet if they wanted to buy it. But the best part about it is that it got the kids up moving. So I would read a page, and then they would get up and move. So this page says, Banana is the DJ. He plays the latest hits. He spins, he jumps, he somersaults, then does banana splits. And this got me thinking. This is one of my favorite books. Again, Claire Fogues, Kitchen Disco. She also does Bathroom Boogie. So you need copies of these books right away. I promise you. We just found out today, this one, $3.99 on Amazon on hardcover. So put it in your cart. But it got me thinking that I think one of the more important pieces that we were missing during the beginning of the pandemic was that movement piece. I was trying to get my kids to do that on their own, but sometimes the kids are at the video, they're playing with the mute button on and off, they're trying to get things done, mom has to watch another baby, and it just got a little bit hairy to try and have them do these movement activities with me. So what I started doing was paring down the amount of time that I was on screen and rising up the amount of onus that I could give the families. And so in doing that, we created this program called Get Up and Grow. And Jill showed you at the very beginning a slide all about some of these cards. What they are they're activities that families can do on their own. You can do them in the classroom as well, and then you can share them at home. They are just little cards. This one says peel a banana, and then you flip it over and it says pelar un plátano. So you've got it in English and Spanish, and you can put it on a little ring, and then you've got a whole set of movement cards. So this one says peel a banana. So everybody knows how to peel a banana, but let's really focus on it. So I want everybody to get your banana, put it in front of you right now, and think about how you're going to open it. Now, sometimes a banana doesn't open the first time at the top. You kind of mush it and it's a little too hard and it doesn't pop right away and it gets a little squishy. So you may have to poke your thumbnail in and then take and peel it down. Think about how it sounds. Think about how it smells. Go ahead and peel your banana. And then when you get it all done, take a bite. So a banana was an easy one that I started thinking about. But then I thought, well, let's move beyond the kitchen. What else could we do? So we might go and stand up tall like a tree. Let's see if I can get up here. And I'm kind of tall, so I'll back up and I'll say, okay, we're going to stand up tall and stretch out your arms like a tree. I'm going to move so you can see one arm. Okay, we're going to grow an apple and pop. Wait, did you just grow an apple? That's amazing. Let's go over here and pop. There's another apple. And so these are just little activities that are going to be available on these Get Up and Grow cards. We have stirring a pot. We have kneading the dough. We have tasting a lemon. Ooh. And even a roly-poly bug, because not only what we do in the kitchen and gardening go together, but being outside and in the dirt, like with our worms, we can stretch and squeeze like a worm. We can curl up small like a roly-poly bug. Those are the things that we were trying to get across to our families during the pandemic. It was hard, but what came about is this series of incredibly fun Get Up and Grow activity cards that you guys are actually going to be able to download. So at the end of the presentation, there'll be one that you can download. And then when you go and you take it back to your classroom and you send us a picture of you doing the activity, we'll send you the set of the cards that then you can download and print in your classroom and share with your families for them to take around with them. The idea of putting them on a ring is so then you might have them all together, throw them in your purse. If you're going on a walk with your students and everybody's getting a little antsy, you can flip to, okay, this one says wave like the wheat. Okay, everybody wave like the wheat. Or if you're doing an activity with, say, your book, Kitchen Disco, you're going to send this, a copy of this home with the family, and then the kids, whether they get the book or not, that doesn't matter. They'll remember it and they can show some of the things, the moves that Banana did. And then the family also has a copy of this. So these are really cool, fun, and exciting Get Up and Grow activity cards that we created with our partnership at Growing Great and with our partnership with Del Monte Foods. And so between the museum, the nonprofit that is out there with you guys in California, and our corporate sponsor, Del Monte, we're able to get these and send them off to you. So we're super excited about getting that started here. After you download a copy of this and send us some pictures of the work that you're doing with your students in your classroom. And one more thing that I wanted to share, and then I think we're going to move on to talk to our amazing nutritionist, Sarah, who's going to talk a little bit more about when you bring the food into your classroom and how you do that with your children and with your families. But I wanted to share one more book with you. So this book is called Plant the Tiny Seed, and this is Christy Matheson. She also wrote a book called Tap the Magic Tree, which you may have seen before. This one's here. And then the other one, which of course I looked for and I must have left at the office, is called Touch the Brightest Star. And the series of books are actually interactive books. And so being that we're home during this pandemic, now we're probably back in person, but everybody still has to social distance. So this is a really fun way to do that. This book has interactivities in it throughout. And this is one of the books that we did during the pandemic with my students who were on Zoom. The book actually starts with just a picture. There's magic in this tiny seed. Press it down and count to 3. And here's your seed. You're going to press it 1, 2, 3. And when you have this as a PowerPoint, the students can reach right up and boop, touch the screen, or they can just do it in the air in the classroom. When I read this story in the classroom, I say to everybody, okay, we're going to use our fingers in the air. Everybody touch the seed and count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And so this book has all sorts of interactivities that you can do virtually or in person. Wiggle your fingers, pour the water, right? And let's see, clap to bring the sun again. And so all of these activities, every page, it's, as you can tell, very small amount of words, but it has an activity and an action for each page. And what we've learned, as I mentioned before, that it's really important to get up and move when you're having to do a lot of virtual work. And the same, even now when you're in the classroom, having activities that you can do with your students really makes it a lot easier to interact without having to be close up. So again, I'm Mariah from the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. I'm super glad that you were able to join me today. And I'm going to introduce Sarah Minkow, who is our dietitian. And take it away, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Mariah. So once again, my name is Sarah Minkow. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I work for the University of California at Berkeley. And I'd love to share with you some ideas today about how to play with your food and teach nutrition to young learners. So teaching nutrition to young learners is really all about exposure. It's really about getting kids excited about fruits and veggies and all different varieties of healthy food. Growing Great is awesome because it teaches students about food, how it gets to our table, from the seed to the table, and really everything in between. And young learners really love this because it's food, and what's not exciting about food? So we know that when we expose kids to a variety of healthy foods at a young age, that they grow up to be healthy eaters. in my practice as a clinical dietitian, I can tell you when I see a patient who maybe is struggling with adding more fruits and vegetables to their diet, we start to explore, well, what is it about fruits and vegetables that, is a barrier to you? And oftentimes we find is that they just never had them growing up. They never saw them, they never ate them. They're just foreign to them. So the more we can introduce healthy foods at a young age, the better. Also, when we're teaching about nutrition, we really want to try and have the main concepts for young learners. So it's really super basic information. It's that our bodies need fuel to grow and perform at our best. And what is fuel? Well, fuel is food for us. And you can even use the metaphor of a car and a gas station if this helps sort of reinforce the concepts. We talk about how there's different types of fuel, and maybe you talk about the different food groups like fruits and vegetables, proteins, meats, legumes, grains, and just letting children know that there's a variety of healthy foods. And when we eat food that's healthy, it makes us feel our best and perform our best. So some tips: make it fun. These are young learners. You have to keep them engaged. So the more singing, the more dancing, however you can make it fun and not scary is really the best thing. So we want to keep it positive. We're not demonizing any certain foods. We can talk about always foods and sometimes foods. So those always foods are really nutrient dense, are nutritious fuel that really helps our body perform at its best and stay healthy. So those are our fruits and our vegetables, our whole grains, our proteins, and our legumes, our nuts and seeds. And then we have sometimes foods. Those are those other foods that we save maybe for special occasions or when we really, really want them. So there's no food that's off limits. We often see that when we demonize certain foods or we make it really scary that like certain things, bad things are going to happen to you when you eat these bad foods. We see that sometimes people develop a poor relationship with food or a poor relationship with their bodies. And this can lead to disordered eating, which is very harmful. So we really just want to keep it light and positive and talk about all the benefits more than we talk about the harmful effects of anything. Also, we want to try and use hands-on methods when possible and real food when possible. So it could be, real fruits and veggies brought into the classroom, or it could be canned food is totally fine too, or frozen fruits and veggies, any type of real actual food that the kids can hold themselves, that they can smell, that they can taste even better. If you're doing this virtually, maybe it's having the kids explore what's in their own pantries and, teaching about variety and that it's okay to have a wide variety of different types of food. And the more variety of colors, the better. Also, there's tons of ways to incorporate STEAM concepts when teaching about nutrition to young learners. So counting, sorting, matching, doing art or reading, dancing. There's so many ideas for this, and I'm going to share some examples with you now. So pretend play is great for this age group. There's an activity where you can pretend to go grocery shopping. So maybe you have some toy food, like some plastic fruits and veggies and cereals and pasta and some meats, and you put it up on the shelf. And then the students go and take their grocery cart if you have that, or maybe it's a grocery bag, and they fill up their bag with what they want. And then they bring it home, if you're in the classroom, make-believe home, and they wash it. So you get out a big tub with warm soapy water and brushes, and it could be toothbrushes, it could be anything. And they just scrub the veggies and the fruits. And then, even taking it to the next step, they make a meal. And if this is with like the older group, you could talk about actually having a balanced plate. So a balanced plate means having some type of protein, some type of grain or other carbohydrate, and then a fruit or vegetable. So having those three things makes a balanced meal. So if they're old enough, you can start teaching about the different food groups and how we combine them to make a balanced meal. Graphing is great. So you can have students actually do taste tests in the class. Maybe it's with vegetables. And, you know, bonus points for maybe unique vegetables or things that they might not have tried before, like jicama, or any sort of, you know, unique type of melon or berry. It can be a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. You also can do activities where they're using art and they're actually making the food themselves, like they make hummus from scratch. Hummus is super easy to make from scratch. You basically just put garbanzo beans and olive oil, lemon juice, tahini, salt and pepper in a blender, blend it up, and that's hummus. And they can spread it on a rice cake or a pita or a tortilla, and then use little pieces of vegetables to make a face, to make art out of fruits and veggies. So when we play with food like this, it's really, really fun for the kids and it's delicious. You also can do sorting or matching. These muffin tins pictured in this image at the bottom of the slide are great because it's just like a natural way to sort your foods. Kids love them. If you don't have those available, you know, if you're doing this virtually, maybe you have the kids go grab a ton of, you know, tiny small bowls, or even just like the muffin tin liners, cupcake liners, those are fine too. But just having little places for the kids to actually move around and touch and feel and sort all the fruits and veggies by color or by shape or by type is really, really fun. And I'm going to show a video in a minute of my daughter doing this activity. There's lots of books out there. Mariah mentioned some. One that I like is Monsters Don't Eat Broccoli. It talks about monsters who don't like broccoli, but they love trees. And then they discover later that the trees they're eating is actually broccoli. So I know my daughter loves to pretend that broccoli is a tree. And for some reason, that makes it so much more interesting and delicious. So it's a really fun book. And you could have the students make a tree or make a monster out of veggies and fruits afterwards. Also, The Little Red Hen is a cute book. It's about grains and how you know, how the grains grow and then they're milled to form flour. So it's a nice seed to table type of explanation. And lots of songs too. And I also have some videos on songs as well. So in this video, you'll see this is my daughter, Millie. She's 2.5. She goes by Ms. So that's why you hear me saying Ms. in the video. We're using a muffin tin to explore a bunch of different fruits and veggies. So I had it set up so I had some fruits and veggies already in the muffin tin and then some on a plate. And then I was having her add it to the muffin tin to make a line, to make a pattern. And she didn't quite get that at first. Maybe she was a little too young for this activity. And so we kind of just were winging it and decided that we were going to start matching them. So adding, you know, the fruits to the same tin that they already are in to match them. But really, it's just about play and discovery. So maybe you put out a bunch of fruits and veggies on a plate and you put out the muffin tins and you just let the kids go wild because they really like this. This is also a great tip for if you have a picky eater, if you're, you know, a family and you have a picky eater at home, putting serving the food in a muffin tin for dinner or, you know, for any meal and having some foods that are familiar with some new foods. It just makes it seem a little bit more safe and a little bit more fun. And the kids often will eat their familiar foods and the new foods at the same time. So let's go ahead and watch this video. So look here, Miss. We have some apples and we have apples here. Can you complete the pattern? We have some green beans, or what are these? Snap peas? There's snap peas here.
I have an apple.
Oh, wow. Good work. So can you complete the pattern? See how it goes green bean, green bean, green bean? The apple goes right there, right? And then what goes next? To match it, you put the snap peas here, and then we have the yellow peppers. So another yellow pepper goes there, That's right. And what about these ones? Can we sort this one? Where does this one go to make the pattern? That's right. And what are these?
I don't know.
Those are purple carrots. Have you ever seen a purple carrot before?
That's unusual.
Mama, where do we put it?
Okay, yeah, complete the pattern. Very good, miss.
Now where do we put the one?
Well, you can taste it if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say in your mouth. But
You like it? Okay. So where do we go if we want to match these up? Where do these ones go? To match them. How do you match it? That's right. You want to put it in? Ah, in your mouth. You can do that if you want. Okay, what about this one? Where does that one go to match it? Where does it go? In your mouth. You funny girl. Yeah, I can go there. Good work. What about the snap peas? Where do we match those? Where does it go? Ah! That's a yellow pepper. Where does the snap pea go? That's right.
We have one.
What's that?
That a yellow pepper.
Okay.
I don't see one.
Okay, you can eat it. What do you think? Like it? Is it crunchy? Is it sweet? Yummy in your tummy? What's that? Good work. Do you know what this is called?
A pepper.
Yeah, bell pepper. And what color is it? Oh, what's that?
An apple. What is the apple though?
I don't know. You tell me. That's right. Uh-oh. Our green pea, what's this called? Snap pea got in the wrong thing. Should we put it here? So it makes a nice pattern all in a row. And what's missing? What do we put there? That's right. Good work. Give yourself a round of applause, miss. Yay.
And then do them on it together and then do that one then.
You want to do it again? Okay. So this next video is another example of using a muffin tin. We added some proteins and grains to this one. So some tortilla and cheese. Feel free to add any types of foods that you have available. And again, we're doing some sorting, some matching, and we're making patterns. And then my daughter just started counting. So that's again why I love this muffin tin is the kids kind of just take it and run with it. And let's go ahead and watch this video. Okay, you want to play the game? What's that?
I'm wearing
What is that?
And a carrot.
It's a carrot. Does that match up with this line? Uh-oh. No, we have cheese here. We have to put cheese there. Where did the carrots go? See, this is the carrots, the purple carrots. Good work. And that one too? Someone took a bite of that. Who was that? Was that you, Millie? Okay, so when we put the carrots with the other carrots, then what would go here? We have cheese, cheese. What should go there? Cheese, that's right.
Sit down here.
That's right.
We have 1, 2, 3.
That's right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's in there?
Oh, what's in there? Oh no, we have things missing.
Oh.
Does that go in there? That's cheese. This is tortilla. Tortilla, tortilla, tortilla. We should put a tortilla in there, huh? To make the pattern? No. No, okay.
Shall we do one more?
Okay.
Where's it go?
Where do you think? That's cheese. Oh, does it go in the mouth? Is it yummy? we do?
Maybe.
Oh, what's that? Do you know what that's called?
Pea.
A pea.
Where did it go with the teeth?
Ah, no. Does it match the cheese? No. Does it match the what? Yay!
And yeah.
Oh, you can put one there too? Ah, is that where it goes? There you go. Good work. Now, which do you want to eat? You want to try any? All right. And then another way to use muffin tins is to just put out a bunch of different foods and sing the song Finger Family. So the song goes, you put in the person's name, or it can be like teacher, or however you want to introduce the person. But we're going to use my daughter as an example. So you go, Millie Finger, where are you? Here I am, how do you do? So she answers that portion. And then you say, Millie Finger, what are you doing? And then she answers whatever she's doing. It can be eating raspberries, like in this video, but you can really actually use the song for anything. It could be making dinner, that's what I'm doing. And ever since we introduced this song, my daughter will just sporadically like sing it out of the blue, and it's really fun. And let's go ahead and take a look at this video. Here I am, how do you do? Eating raspberries, that's what I'm doing. Millie Finger, where are you?
Here I am, I do.
Millie Finger, what are you doing? Good song, Miss.
A delicious song.
Baby Fino, where are you?
Here I am, how do you do?
Wait, why baby make a funny face? Baby Fino, where are you?
Here I am, I see you.
Baby Fino, what are you doing?
Eating lunch, that's what I'm doing.
Delicious.
Can you count all the raspberries? Oopsies. Can you count the raspberries?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good work, Miss.
And so I eat them?
Yeah. So in summary, when teaching nutrition to young learners, it's really about exposure. You don't have to overthink it. It's really just about getting fruits and vegetables in front of the children. If you don't have real fruits and vegetables that they can actually taste and touch, plastic ones are just as great. And if you don't have that, even just printing out images. So even just seeing an image of a unique fruit or vegetable that maybe the students haven't seen before is the first step in getting them to accept that food. Remember to keep it positive. So no demonizing any foods. We're really just talking about all the amazing health benefits that fruits and veggies and other whole foods have for our bodies. And we're just sort of minimizing the other part, the other types of foods that are sometimes foods. Hands-on is great. Worksheets are also great. You have to be adaptable in this time. So just thinking creatively and thinking out of the box of how can you do these activities that you would normally do in the classroom? How can you have students do this at home? And Growing Great has a bunch of great worksheets that actually leads parents through how they can do these activities at home. So we like to send those home with the children after doing an activity. Think about STEAM concepts, how can you incorporate some science, some math? Food is really easy to do that with. And again, keeping it fun. That's really the most important thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah and Mariah. What a great presentation. Thank you so much for participating together. We want to thank everyone for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it. We understand over the past year, we've all had to adapt, modify, get inspired, be creative from our homes. And we hope our presentation can offer you resources on teaching in the classroom as you return and at home as you continue to educate on a virtual screen. If you would like more information on the Get Up and Grow activities that Mariah shared with you today, you can download the activity in this presentation. But I would also like to hear from you. We'd like to know if you are using this fun, hands-on, interactive, moving program where you are in California. So please email me at jill@growinggreat.org. Also, I want to direct you to 2 websites where you can find more of our fun hands-on activities. You can go to www.growinggreat.org and you can spend some time on our website. We have fun videos. We feature videos from our reading club. Mariah and Sarah introduced great literacy resources to enhance your programming at home and in the classroom. Growing Great offers that as well. We also want to thank Del Monte Foods for sponsoring this program. And you can visit their website, www.delmonte.com/growinggreat. And there is a page of 32 videos that we have produced since COVID started back in 2020, where you can watch the videos and you can download the wonderful hands-on activities for the early childhood learner. So feel free to tap into those. And if Mariah and Sarah, do you want to say anything else as we wrap up this amazing presentation at this conference here in California?
I was just going to say, if you have any questions about nutrition or teaching nutrition to young learners, feel free to email Jill and she will forward it to me. So thank you again for having us.
The same goes for me. If you have any questions, feel free to send those to Jill and she'll share them with me and then I'll get back with you right away. You could also check out the Academy of Natural Science website. That's www.ansp.org. And that's the oldest natural history museum in the Western Hemisphere. And if you're ever in Philadelphia, come check it out and we'll say hi. We got dinosaurs. You gotta love them. See ya.
Bye, everyone. Have a great conference.